How to grow thick arms. We're going to be specifically speaking about biceps. This is going to be the exercises I use for myself, the exercises I program for clients to get results like this. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergey. I run the Gorilla Platoon online physique transformation program where we get results like this. So a big part of it, and let's not fucking bullshit ourselves, a big part of building a very nice physique is training really fucking hard in the gym with correct exercises. We can diet you down, we can get you lean, but ultimately if we're sculpting down a fucking pebble, it will just be a smaller pebble. So we need to sculpt you from a place of a boulder, not a pebble. And in this video, we're going to explain what we're going to do specifically for your biceps. We'll speak about exercises, why we program them, and then move on to rep ranges, frequency, and all that good stuff. So it can be really clear cut and black and white how many times you should train them, what should you do, and what that looks and feels like. So let's roll straight in. So an absolute must when it comes to training your biceps is using a cable. Why do I say that? The cable will keep tension in the lengthened position. You're not going to get that with a dumbbell or a barbell because it's a blunt weight, and when your arms are straight and their joints are stacked, there is zero resistance. Likewise, the resistance will drop off on a bicep curl as it gets towards the top because, again, the joint is then closed in on your bicep, so it's only really hard at 90 degrees. The cable is going to give you the option to keep tension all the way through. So I would recommend you put this in both sessions. Train arms twice per week. Once you're going to do biceps with your pull, and you're going to do your own day. And with this, you want to ideally support the back. Why do I say that? So you don't fucking cheat. So you don't swing around, use your hips and your shoulders and all that good stuff. Now also look at the position of my elbows. They want to stay back for the whole way through the movement. If it gets to the 10th rep, you're trying to grind out a new weight, I understand if they creep forward a little bit. But on the whole, they want to stay back for as long as possible. The reason for this is you're not trying to train your shoulders. So the only thing to really flex is the elbow joint. So that's why you want to keep them back throughout. Get the pause at the bottom. Stay composed as it starts to get fucking tough. Look at this here, the longest rep of my fucking life, and we still managed to, keep the focus and not let it blow up. So this exercise is an absolute must. The way I would program this, I would do one heavy 8 to 12, and then I would drop and I'd do two 12 to 15s. One heavy top set and two back offs. Drop the load by 20% when you're doing the back off sets. Program this in both exercises. You may have it in your gym where you've got the ability to do this on a seated machine. If you have, take it, use it on a seated machine. If you haven't, wheel a fucking bench over towards the cable stack. Luckily, this cable stack has got one of these pads on, so I can use that. If yours doesn't, wheel a bench over. That's my go-to. That goes in both sessions. The next exercise is going to be a single arm preacher curl. The reason I go single arm is really just so I can focus on that arm. If I go two arms, there's too much fucking stuff going on and I can't focus and I can't get as good of a contraction as I could with a single arm. Why do I do it this way round? You could say this is the wrong way round the preacher curl. Well, honestly, if you look how my arm is sat here, it's flush and there's no tension on the joint. If I come down the other way, my arm is slightly forward, which means right at the bottom there's going to be a little bit of strain around the elbow tendon. You don't really want that, so I like to go for a straight arm. Why is this exercise so good? Because again, you can't fucking cheat. You've wedged your shoulder in, you've wedged your arm against the back of the pad, you're able to curl up. Now this exercise is hardest when it starts from here, comes to 90, and then just after here, as it starts to drop off, the tension drops off. So you know where to turn it on. Focus in the middle. You're actually strongest at that 90 degrees, so it's a great exercise. It challenges you where you're strongest. So you'll be able to stack a lot of load with this. Again, one heavy 8 to 12, and then two back off sets of 12 to 15 to get the volume in. Key factor here, drive the back of your elbow against this pad. As it starts to get really fucking tough, you should see your arm come off slightly. You don't want it to, but it will do where you're just trying to get that extra rep out. And again, there's always going to be a slight breakdown in form to get that extra rep. That's okay. But if your first rep is built like that, then that's not good. Always slowing the eccentrics, especially on all exercises. Going for 2 to 3 seconds on the way down, grinding with fucking intensity, driving back, getting the squeeze. And look, the last rep is messy, of course it is. But if I'm progressing, I'm getting that extra rep, I'll take a little bit of messiness in order to get that extra bit of gains. With this, I only program it once. So on my pull day, I will do the cable and I will do this exercise. They'll be the two exercises I run with. And then on my arms and delts day, I then push the sets up. So we'll go on to the final exercise that I will give you for biceps. And that is going to be a seated hammer curl. Reason for seated is because honestly, we're only trying to train the biceps. And in this exercise, we're looking to train the muscles in the forearm as well. So if we can support everything, then we're not going to swing around as much. The focus is going to go onto the working muscle being the bicep. And, you know, you can push against the floor and against the backrest here rather than your energy being wasted trying to stabilize you anyway. So with this, and going back to what I was saying, on an arms and delts day, add an extra set in so that way you're getting 8 sets on arms and delts day, and then another, so yeah, eight sets on arms and delts day, and then you're still getting 6 on the other day. But if it's a weak area, an area you're looking to bring up, then definitely push for 16, maybe close towards 20 sets. The only downside is, if you're also looking to grow everything else, just weigh up what is the real focus. If arms is the real focus, then on some of your back exercises, you could do 3 back exercises, 1 top set, 1 back off set, and that'll save you a lot of, if you, instead of doing 3 sets there, you could then allocate those 3 sets to a whole nother bicep exercise. I'm not in the position where I want to be doing that, so I personally am not running that many sets. But if it is a main area, I would 100% be doing that. Now, don't get me wrong, I want more muscle everywhere, boys. I also want fucking bigger arms. What I'm doing seems to be working so far, but if I was of the need where I wanted more volume, that is how I would skin it. So, finally finishing with single arm hammer. I'll go single arm again, just so I can focus on one arm, instead of both moving at the same time, and I'm seated so that there's no swinging around. Come up, pause at the top, come down slow, go again. Again, so now we're getting the forearms involved, which is important. You know, people say, oh, don't use grips, just you train your forearms with that. You train your forearms when you do this exercise from the position that your hand's in. So I would definitely supplement some form of a hammer curl. You may come off this feeling like, my biceps, I don't feel them that much, and you won't compare to a normal bicep curl in terms of like absolute feeling, but that's not, you know, the main aim for this. The main aim, obviously you're going to train the bicep, but you're aiming to hit some forearms as well with that. So yeah, these are the 3 exercises that I would program. Is there anything wrong with other ones? No. The only thing I'd say to you, when it comes to training your bicep, and you see the principle for me is always the same, stabilize everything that is not the working muscle. The only working muscle when it comes to biceps, elbow joint. Does it attach over onto the shoulder? Yeah. Do you want to keep the shoulder fixed though? Yes. So that's why it's just stabilize everything. And honestly, like, we don't need to get too sciencey about it. As long as you're not swinging from your hips, your back, or your shoulders to get the load up, you're going to be challenging the bicep. So don't overthink it and think, oh, we need to be doing this and make sure that this isn't moving. Just like, honestly, don't overthink it. Just think, how can I make everything supported so I can focus on the working muscle? Done. That's it. Stability will then equal more loadability on the working muscle because you're not having to waste energy, calories, and fucking brain points on trying to keep yourself stable. You see where I'm going with this? So throughout everything, sit down if you can sit down, support the back of your arm if you can support the back of your arm, and you'll be golden. Could I do this on the preacher? Maybe. But I'm rolling this set like single arm. You could just do it one arm at a time. So you could stay over there and do it that way. Again, we're fucking splitting hairs at this point here. But these are the 3 exercises that I'm running for myself, for clients, to get the results we do. And you now know why with the programming and how often with the frequency. Arms 100% have to be trained twice a week. That's a non-negotiable if you want to build any decent shape to them. So they're the exercises. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing to get results. If you found it useful, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.